gods and goddesses with elongated skulls. Now, of course, there are people, again, another one, with the big hats, the high hats, the elongated skull that you see so often in Egypt. Now, you do find this among some native peoples, where they take the children and they bind their heads, I mean, God, the thought of it, so tightly from a birth, and it elongates the skull. And when they're asked why they do this, they say, and Craig Muchwa told me a lot about what goes on in Africa from that point of view, they say it's to make our children like the gods. Again, it's this carryover from the gods with the elongated skulls. Now, one of the ways that they symbolized these bloodlines and these gods as part human, part snake was like this. You see loads of these, where it's part human and then the rest is like a snake or a serpent. These are kind of endless numbers of these images all around the world in different cultures. And here's another example where you're human and then you are part serpent. This is the hybrid bloodline that I'm talking about, symbolized in ancient architecture, etc. You get the symbolism of the people, humans, fighting giant snakes. Again, all symbolic. There again is a goddess who becomes, in the lower half, a snake. There you get the story of humans fighting the snake and all the rest of it, symbolic of this. Again, the cobra and the symbol of the cobra is an Illuminati symbol in many ways. And going way back, it's a symbol in Egypt, where the cobra is symbolized in the way that they symbolize their pharaohs, etc. Says here, beard styled to resemble underbelly of cobra, cobra emerging from the top of the head, headdress like the cobra. And wherever you go, and we've been researching this now for the best part of a decade, it's unbelievable. And the other interesting thing, because of where we're going, is at least there came a time, if not from the start, when the worship of the sun and the worship of the serpent kind of became one and moved as one unit. It's like the reptilian hybrid religion, the worship of the sun and the worship of the moon goddess, etc. Again, here we have the cobra symbol of a god or goddess in another part of the world. And you see them all over the place. And somebody sent me these statue images, again, of the symbolism of the serpent and the human woman, the interbreeding, and the dual hybrid nature, part human, part serpent, part human, part serpent. And these gargoyles that you see on the stately homes and castles of these elite bloodlines, again, symbolic of these entities. The dragon or the serpent you find as a regular symbol on the coats of arms of these families. The crest of the City of London. By City of London, I mean the financial district of London, the original London before it became the great sprawl it is today. That is the two flying dragons holding the red cross on the white background, which is the shield of the Knights Templar secret society, which is massively part of this network of secret societies. It's a closer look at it. When you go into the City of London, you pass these flying reptiles on both sides of the road holding those shields. At the point where the City of London meets something called the Temple, and it's called the Temple in London because it's named after the Knights Templar Temple, where those two very important areas of London meet in terms of global control and manipulation, you have this big reptile in the middle of the road at a place known as Temple Bar. Again, the dragon and the serpent monster and all the rest of it is universal around the world. Of course, in the East, like in China and Japan, etc., it's the national symbol, the dragon. And the ancient Chinese emperors used to claim the right to be emperor because of their descendants from what they called the serpent gods. Again, it goes on and on and on. Messiah comes from Mesa, apparently, according to some researchers, and Christ means anointed one. And the Mesa is the crocodile, the Nile crocodile, and they used to use the fat of the Nile crocodile to anoint people in ceremonies in Egypt, and that oil is still used, the symbolism of the oil, and so much Middle Eastern and Israel symbolism and names and what have you, when we crown the monarch of Britain. In the Bible, the Satan figure, whatever you want to call him, is described in dragon terms, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now that great dragon, the Druid god Yu, was known as the great dragon ruler of the world to the Druids. So Credo Mutwa, a great friend of mine, when I first met him, was in South Africa in the late 90s. I think it's about 98. And I met him and we had a chat. And we haven't talked about any of this stuff, but other things. And then I went back just after I'd published a book called The Biggest Secret. And he's on the phone as soon as I get there saying, I must talk to you. How do you know about the Chitahuri? Who the hell are the Chitahuri? Well, the Chitahuri, because The Biggest Secret was the first book I wrote where I introduced this whole reptilian theme. The Chitahuri in South African legend are the children of the serpent or the children of the python. They are this hybrid bloodline known as the Chitahuri in South Africa. And I talked to him, and I did a DVD of about 6.5 hours talking to him about this. And he's telling me all the African legends that he learned in his development as a shaman over like 50 years or more. He's in his late 80s now. And they mirrored what I was finding out all over the world. And he showed me artifacts he had, like this necklace of the mysteries, as he calls it. Not really a necklace. It goes on the shoulders, and it's so bloody heavy. I don't know how it is he bloody walks around with it, but he does sometimes. And on the necklace of the mysteries are these symbols through which he is the official storyteller of the Zulu nation and the official historian of the Zulu nation. He tells the story of the development of people in Africa, African people. And the pride of place at the front is this human woman and this clearly non-human entity with a big willy, which, he told me, used to be golden until someone stole it and they couldn't afford to replace the gold, so a copper one was put in its place. Now that, from South Africa, mirrors the story, the big story at the heart of Egyptian myth, of the golden penis of Osiris, which was also told, in effect, about Nimrod, the Osiris figure in Babylon, who I'll certainly come to as we go along, because it's very, very important to understanding so much about what's going on today. And these stories are relating, that he tells from the legends, of an interbreeding between a non-human race, the Chitahuri, and human women to create a hybrid bloodline. There's the human woman, there's the non-human entity. Now, why does it look like that? This is the reason why, at best, these entities and their hybrids are symbolized by snakes and animals, like the serpent in the Garden of Eden, because, according to legend, the Chitahuri said to the people, you must never depict us as we really look. So what they did, they used kind of snake symbolism, or they made them look absolutely ludicrously not human, to show that we're not talking about human interbreeding, but non-human human interbreeding. Now, on the side of Credo's hut, he has painted this picture of a snake eating a human from African legends about the Chitahuri eating humans. And it's interesting that you find that on the Alfa Romeo symbol alongside the red cross on the white background, which is the Knights Templar Secret Society. And in the garden of Silvio Berlusconi, the leader of Italy, God knows how, were they all drunk, you have the same thing of the snake eating a human. This is from ancient myth about the Chitahuri. Now, a lot of these fairy stories about frogs turning into princes and all that stuff are all linked to these kind of legends about this interbreeding and this hybrid race. And it's amazing what you find. This is a book in America, I think a series of books someone was telling me, but certainly one book for children. It's in the schools, and